Hello everybody, welcome to ixamBee. This is Amrita and today I have come up with the discussion of full memory based paper with solutions for the examination of SEBI Grade A Legal Officer Phase 2. Examination for Phase 2 took place on 20th of March, that is Sunday 2022. And ixamBee memory based paper लेकर आया है. आपको इस वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में मेमोरी बेस्ड पेपर का पीडीएफ भी मिलेगा विच यू कैन इजीली डाउनलोड. आई हैव एक्सेस टू ऑल द क्वेश्चंस विद दिस सॉल्यूशंस. इस वीडियो में मैं आपके साथ हर एक क्वेश्चन डिस्कस करने वाली हूँ कि क्या क्वेश्चंस आए थे एंड these questions we have picked from the memory based questions that we have received from various sources. And before we start with our discussion, I would like to request you all to subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay updated with such kind of beneficial videos. You can contact to ixamBee at hello@ixamBee.com. You can call on the number which you can see on the screen and also visit our website for further details relating to all courses, not only for SEBI but also for other examinations like RBI, NABARD and so on. Thank you. Starting with our discussion, SEBI Grade A Legal Officer Examination Phase 2, Memory Based Paper 2022 with solutions. Now, why are we discussing this memory based paper and why is it important now? Exam तो हो गया है and अभी आपका Phase 2 examination हो चुका है and now you are having the interview level if at all you are selected for that. And also those who are not selected this year, better luck next time, which you will get to know soon when the results are out. नेक्स्ट ईयर की भी आप तैयारी कर सकते हो जिसके लिए ये मेमोरी बेस्ड पेपर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा. हाउ इज़ दिस डिस्कशन गोइंग टू बी हेल्पफुल? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आपको पेपर पैटर्न समझ में आएगा कि पेपर पैटर्न कैसे है इस एग्जामिनेशन के लिए. फ़ेज़ 2 में आपको क्या क्या चीज़ें हैं, क्या क्या चेंजेस है फ़ेज़ 1 और फ़ेज़ 2 के लेवल ऑफ एग्ज़ाम में. आपको लेवल ऑफ एग्ज़ाम समझ में आएगा. हाउ मेनी टॉपिक्स वर कवर्ड विद द रिस्पेक्टिव नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस एग्जैक्टली यू विल गेट थ्रू दिस पेपर. And also you can, if you have given the paper of Phase 2, you can understand whether or not you can expect a call for interview. What are the chances for your selection? ये solutions देखकर आपको समझ में आएगा. But before we start with our discussion, let me make an announcement. We have an special interview course online available for SEBI Grade A Legal Officer Examination. This is our expert panel for legal, and you can see there are various experienced faculty who are constituting the expert panel. So this special online interview course you can take, you can enroll now immediately, and this will comprise of 6 live sessions and 1 mock interview session. So enroll now for it if at all you want to go for it, and there is a flat 40% off available on this SEBI Grade A interview online course. Not only for legal but also for other disciplines in SEBI, this course is available. Also you can refer to ixamBee website for all the mock tests are free at ixamBee.com. Now we can quickly start with our discussion relating to the memory based paper. How are we going to do that? I will share the PDF with you. See, this is the PDF which I have shared in the description also. ये PDF आप डाउनलोड करके भी देख सकते हैं इस वीडियो के एंड में, लेकिन कुछ चीज़ें हैं जो मैं कंट्रीब्यूट करना चाहती हूँ इस वीडियो के थ्रू आपके साथ ये क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस करके. इससे आपको ये समझ में तो आ जाएगा कि पेपर पैटर्न क्या है, क्या क्या सॉल्यूशंस थे, एंड आपको लेवल ऑफ एग्जामिनेशन भी समझ में आएगा. एंड एग्जैक्टली यू कैन डिटरमाइन दैट हाउ ixamBee हैज़ सक्सेसफुली कवर्ड all the almost majority of the questions have been covered by ixamBee in various material that has been provided by us in the form of notes, be it in the form of live classes, questions we have provided in various forms, like in form of section test, in form of mock tests, chapter tests and so on. So this expert guidance by ixamBee team is also evident in this particular PDF. Starting with the very first question of discussion, that was from Securities Law, SAT, व्हेन कैन एन अपील लाई फ्रॉम सैट टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट, ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था। ऑप्शंस थे विद इन 90 days ऑन एनी क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ, 3 months ऑन एनी क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ, 30 days ऑन एनी क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ, ऑन एनी क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ। यू कैन सी द ऑप्शंस आर वेरी नियर टू ईच अदर। इस पेपर के एनालिसिस भी अगर आप करोगे, ऑप्शंस काफ़ी नियर थे एक दूसरे से, थोड़े थोड़े चेंजेस थे बस, एंड दैट वॉज टेंड टू बी कंफ्यूजिंग टू द स्टूडेंट्स एक्चुअली। ये हमें फीडबैक मिला है ओवरऑल स्टूडेंट्स का, एंड दिस वॉज पिक्ड फ्रॉम सेक्शन 15Z ऑफ द SEBI Act दैट अपील कैन लाई टू सुप्रीम कोर्ट, एंड द आंसर इज डी ऑन एनी क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ। देयर इज नो स्पेसिफिक टाइम पीरियड मेंशन। दिस क्वेश्चन ऑन a similar topic was covered in mock test for SEBI legal course provided by ixamBee. You can refer over here. This question we have picked it exactly over here. You can see and that we have picked this question. अब यहाँ पे ऑप्शंस में 60 days का टाइम पीरियड मेंशन नहीं है, बट ऑन एनी क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ इट कैन लाई विद इन 60 days इज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन। तो यहाँ पे मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट ऑप्शन ऑन एनी क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ होगा। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग कैन नॉट बी क्वालिफाइड टू बी ए जुडिशियल मेंबर ऑफ सैट, यानी कि इन ऑप्शंस में से कौन जुडिशियल मेंबर ऑफ सैट नहीं बन सकता। दिस हैज़ बीन आस्क्ड ओवर हियर। High Court judge, but you can see the changes are very minute, 4 year, 5 year, 6 year, 7 year, 8 year, and the answer was A, High Court judge who has been a judge for 4 years. Section 15M of SEBI Act से ये क्वेश्चन पिक किया गया है। इसका डिटेल सोल्यूशन आप लोग देख सकते हो, वीडियो को पॉज करके भी आप लोग देख सकते हो, या फिर आप PDF डाउनलोड करके भी एनी टाइम यू कैन एक्सेस इट। This was also discussed specifically. Section 15M was discussed in the notes, course videos and classes as well for SEBI Grade A Legal Officer Examination course of ixamBee. This is the proof of that, we can say. Now next question, a woman has thrown acid on a man. This was a situation based question, that a man has gone to the hospital but the hospital refused to admit that man. What will be the scenario in this case? अब ये question आप देखोगे थोड़ा सा twist किया गया है। By bringing the man to the hospital, they have tried to confuse that the students by this question, and the option C will be correct in this case. Hospital will be liable to punishment under IPC because they have not treated the victim. Even if he is the criminal, he is the offender, prima facie it is visible, but as per section 166B of IPC, this will be applicable over here, and he will be charged. The hospital will be charged for not treating him. Then A, in order to steal something, creeps into a ship at a porthole between the decks and then leaves. A has committed what? IPC से आप देखोगे काफ़ी situation based questions पूछे गए हैं, and the answer was house trespass, house breaking, conceptual as well as situation based questions. Very trickily they are checking your concepts over here. जैसे हम लोग हमेशा कहते हैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को, कंसेप्ट्स पे फोकस करो, कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी रखो, यू शुड नॉट गेट कन्फ्यूज्ड, एंड द आंसर इज डी ओवर हियर, हाउस ब्रेकिंग ही कहा जाएगा। दैट ऑल्सो कवर्स वेसल्स, सो पोर्च होल बिटवीन डेक्स इज एक्चुअली कवर्ड अंडर हाउस ब्रेकिंग. You can refer to the concerned sections 442, essential ingredients to commit house trespass. Fifth question, if the court has asked for the production of document and the person does not produce it, then what shall the court presume in such kind of a situation? Evidence Act. The presumption that can be made over here, only presumption is that the document was attested, stamped and executed in the manner required by law. This will be the presumption that is valid. Section 89 of Indian Evidence Act. This was also covered by ixamBee. As you can see, these questions were covered in the live class discussion by concerned faculty for legal, and you can see section 89 was marked as an important section. Sixth question पे जाते हैं, SEBI can delegate its power to. अब SEBI के अपने पावर्स किसको डेलीगेट कर सकता है? इन अथॉरिटीज़ में से ये पूछा गया था, काफ़ी डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था, एंड आंसर इज एज पर सेक्शन 19 ऑफ SEBI एक्ट विच डील्स विद डेलीगेशन ऑफ पावर. सो द आंसर हियर विल बी कैन एनी पर्सन सब्जेक्ट टू सच कंडीशंस एज मे बी स्पेसिफाइड इन द ऑर्डर दैट इज कवर्ड अंडर सेक्शन 19 ऑफ द SEBI एक्ट. Seventh question, which of the following is not included in the definition of securities under SCRA? सिक्योरिटीज़ की डेफिनेशन अगर आप देखोगे तो उस हिसाब से आपको इजीली समझ में आ जाएगा कि इन ऑप्शंस में से सिर्फ ULIP एक ऐसा ऑप्शन है जो डेफिनेशन ऑफ सिक्योरिटीज़ में नहीं आता है. For your reference, you can cross check the securities definition over here as per SCRA Act. This also you can find actually a similar question on the topic. Definition of securities or category of securities was covered by us in our question number 8. You can see this snapshot. It was covered by though it was not on the point of ULIP similar, but the question was very much similar. It was on the category of securities and the definition was important and revised through these set of questions actually. In order to pledge or hypothecate securities that are held in a depository, prior approval of depository is required or not? This was the question that was asked. ये पिक किया गया था सेक्शन 12 ऑफ डिपॉजिटरी एक्ट से और इसका आंसर है प्रायर अप्रूवल में नॉट बी रिक्वायर्ड, बट it is mandatory to intimate the depository of such kind of pledge or hypothecation, though approval is not required. ये भी एक डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन हम कह सकते हैं. एंड दिस वाज आल्सो प्रेजेंट इन द सेक्शन टेस्ट. We have provided section tests for our students exclusively for the examination. We have prepared it and उसमें एक similar question था, as you can see over here, section 12 of Depositories Act से पूछा गया था. Prior approval is not compulsory but it is mandatory to intimate. When a person dies, what will be the liability of the legal representative? Just a minute. What will be the liability of the legal representative for the penalty that is imposed on the deceased as per Depositories Act? So ये options थे. Legal representative will be liable to the same extent, will be liable to the extent of their share, will be liable only if penalty is imposed on the deceased person, or else he will not be liable. And the correct option is this only, that they will be liable only if penalty was imposed on the deceased. And similar question we can say, we can see here, we have found it in our content as well, and section 28B of SEBI Act or section 19 IC of Depositories Act you can refer for this purpose. 10th question, state government appoints a public prosecutor after consultation with. पब्लिक प्रोसिक्यूटर्स अपॉइंट किसके कंसल्टेशन के साथ होते हैं? बी, हाई कोर्ट. वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन. CRPC section 24 covers this part of public prosecutors, and this similar question was again found relating to special public prosecutors in our content for section test for ixamBee. Which of these insurance claims can be taxed as a capital gains tax? टैक्सेशन लॉ से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन है. इसका आंसर है डी, डैमेज और डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ द कैपिटल एसेट एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ एक्सीडेंटल फायर. This can be taxed as a capital gains tax and this has been picked from the Income Tax Act section 45(1)(a. ये आप नोट डाउन कर लीजिए and you can go through all these important provisions later on. Snapshot we have taken here as it was discussed in the notes as well as it was discussed in the class as well by the concerned faculty. Vertical equity shares that require that individuals should be asked to pay taxes according to their ability to pay. An income increases, the taxes should increase. At the same time, as per horizontal equity, persons of equal income should pay identical amount in the taxes. Based on the above provided information, this is an information based question. Which of the following taxation method is based on the principle of equity and fairness? This was what you had to determine, and the options were proportional taxation, progressive taxation, regressive taxation, direct or indirect taxation, and the answer is B, progressive taxation. Progressive taxation का concept है ये, and horizontal equity, vertical equity, progressive, proportional, regressive tax based on this method. This is what is the apt solution for it. Principle of taxation, this was actually discussed. Exactly, it was discussed comprehensively, covering all these methods in the class for SEBI legal course of ixamBee. You can see the snapshots over here. This was discussed in the class. All the classifications were comprehensively covered in the class for the students. Under CRPC, it is found out that wrong court has decided the suit. Then what, in such kind of a situation, what will happen to the order that has already been passed by that court? This was the question that was put up, and that order will be set aside. So this provision is picked from section 462 of CRPC, proceedings in wrong place. No finding sentence or order of any criminal court shall be set aside merely on the ground of inquiry, trial or proceedings in the course it was arrived at or passed. You can refer this section. अब चलते हैं नेक्स्ट पार्ट. 14 क्वेश्चन इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड से उठाया गया है. दैट प्रोवाइड्स द ड्यूटीज ऑफ एन इंटरिम रेजोल्यूशन प्रोफेशनल. एज इंटरिम रेजोल्यूशन प्रोफेशनल से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन आया था. IRP इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है IBC का, काफ़ी क्वेश्चनेबल एरिया है एंड इट वॉज राइटली पिक्ड फ्रॉम दिस एरिया. सो ऑल दीज A, B and C, as you can see, these are what are the duties of an interim resolution professional: constituting committee, receiving and collating all the claims submitted by creditors, collection of information relating to assets, finances, operation of the corporate debtor. So ये concept you can see in section 18 of IPC code, and this was discussed in the live class as well by the faculty at ixamBee. Next question, interim resolution professional again. He conducts the first meeting of the committee of creditors. In how many days he conducts it? That was asked actually, and the answer is 7 days, within 7 days of constitution of the committee of creditors, picked from section 22. Similar question was asked in the section test as well. Same section, section 22, similar question within 7 days, was actually exactly same, I would say, question was there in our material. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 does not apply to whom? Relating to the applicability, and the answer is C, it does not apply to depositories. You can refer the apt solution for it. This was also covered by ixamBee team. Advertisement of a prospectus of a company shall specify therein what? Now this was from the prospectus of a company, and that advertisement shall provide for what? Answer is contents of memorandum of association, section 30. Actually section 30 deals with it, advertisement of prospectus. Where an advertisement of any prospectus of a company is published, it shall be necessary to specify their contents of its memorandum as regards the objects, liability of members, amount of share and so on. This was also actually covered, you can see the snapshot, it was covered in study notes very comprehensively. Investors Education Protection Fund is created by dash under dash. It is created by Central Government and Companies Act, under Companies Act. Section 125 में से ये question put up किया गया था. Investor Education and Protection Fund से related. This was also similarly covered in study notes of ixamBee. You can see Investor Education and Protection Fund. Company may issue sweat equity shares of a class of shares already issued if authorized by a special resolution, which shall specify, and the correct option is both B as well as C. Current market price, total number of shares that are issued. Both will be specified. This is from section 54. Issue of sweat equity shares. Similar topic was also covered in the study notes of ixamBee material. In case of vacancy in the office of the key managerial personnel, then it shall be filled up by dash within a period of dash. That shall be filled up by the board, of course, and the option within a period of 6 months it shall be done. Section 203 provides for it, and this was also covered in our material. A shelf prospectus is filed with the registrar and shall indicate a period of dash as the period of validity of that prospectus, and it shall commence from the date of opening of the first offer of securities. So the correct option is E, at the stage of first offer of securities, and shall not exceed 1 year. Section 31 deals with shelf prospectus. Very important topic it was actually. This was actually similarly covered in live class, as well as we had a question in section test on same point, shelf prospectus, as you can see over here. Students were told that this topic is very important from exam point of view, and we so got the question as well in the exam. A company which has been in existence for dash cannot contribute any amount directly or indirectly to any political party. Less than 3 financial years is the correct answer. Section 182 discusses this. This was also covered in important questions and was also put up in section test. Important questions our faculty discusses in the live class, and we stress on the questions and the topics which are very important and expectable in examination, which does help the students understand and get pointers for preparation. Question also you can see similar was put up in the section test. A dormant company is a company. About dormant company, all these are the features actually you can see. Section 455 you can cross check for this purpose. This was also covered in the section test by ixamBee. What are the rights which are available to an indemnity holder as per Indian Contract Act? Contract Act से पूछा गया था ये question and the correct option is damages. You can refer section 125 deals with rights of indemnity holder when he is sued. So at that time what rights are available to him? He can claim damages. And this was also covered, rights of indemnity holder. See, you can see how specific and to the point material has been covered. Even a question on similar point was framed in our mock test. Gratuitous bailer is duty bound to. Correct option, all of the above. Disclose all the facts in goods bailed, defects as well as faults. All the three options are correct. Section 150 bailer's duty, it refers to. Gratuitous bailer is also covered on that, and this similar topic was covered in study notes for SEBI legal course. Persona non grata means what? Again, all these three options will be correct because this somehow talks about the same thing. A company may issue fully paid up bonus shares to its members from capital redemption account. Section 63 deals with issue of bonus shares, जहाँ से ये question उठाया गया है. This was also covered specifically in the live class of ixamBee. Special court may, if it thinks fit in a summary way, try an offence under Companies Act, and that shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years is the correct answer. Section 436 offences triable by special courts is what is the topic. That was also covered in study notes specifically by ixamBee. If an act repeals and reenacts with or without modification any provision of a former enactment, then references in any other enactment or in any instrument to the provisions so repealed act shall. Now this question, many students have come up with this question, and this was very confusing for many students. They have chosen not to answer this question for this reason, because it was confusing, and you can see the options were very similar, and the answer that has been provided for that is, unless a different intention appears, be construed as references to the provision of the so reenacted act. Unless there is a different intention appears, obviously it can be construed as reference to the provisions of the reenacted act only, which has come into existence later on. This explanation you can refer in the General Clauses Act. You can find it there. Section 8 covers that. Now the next set of questions, partner's interest in. There were 2 to 3 questions from Partnership Act actually. Partner's interest in an LLP is transferable, partly transferable, transferable wholly, not transferable, both B and C, and the correct answer is partly transferable, also transferable wholly. Section 42, directly this question has been picked up from section 42 of LLP Act. You can see we have covered this topic exclusively in notes, transfer of interest, and also discussed this in the live class. As an important section, we discuss important sections chapter wise from LLP Act. This you can see chapter 8 section 42 has been marked as an important section for discussion. Which of the following is true about a minor's liability in a partnership firm? Minors admitted to benefit of partnership, very very important topic, and the answer will be C, as minor shall not be liable personally, but his share shall be liable for all acts of the firm. Many students have confusion on this point कि share liable होगा या नहीं, but share will be liable. Section 30 अच्छे से पढ़िए, you will get the conceptual clarity on this point. This was also covered in the class, in the course videos that we have provided on each subject, and this was also marked as important by faculty in the particular course video. Like class में भी ये concept discuss किया गया. This question, torts. Torts is defined statutorily, and question answer is section 2M of Limitation Act covers that. And similar question, I would say exactly same, was asked in ixamBee section test. This was the first question only that was picked from tort law, and this was similarly covered in chapter test also from ixamBee and also in the section test. Vicarious liability is a liability for wrong that is committed by servant. Vicarious liability, very important topic, and the answer was liability for wrong committed by servant in the course of employment. Doctrine of vicarious liability, this was also covered in the course videos as well as in the live class, and similar question was also present in chapter test for SEBI legal. Everywhere in taught law material we have covered this vicarious liability point. We have framed questions also on the same point. Which of the following writ order can be issued in case of illegal detention? Habeas corpus is of course the answer, and it is very easy topic actually. And same question as it was there twice in the material of ixamBee. It was asked, you can see exactly illegal detention of person was asked, this writ, and same question has been asked in the examination as well. Two questions on same point were there in the chapter tests of ixamBee. Whoever fails to comply with the order of state commission can be penalized by state commission. Then the state commission shall have powers like that of which code? ये question पूछा गया था Consumer Protection Act से. Section 72, if you refer, you will get the answer. Judicial Magistrate First Class is the correct answer for this. Leaser is bound to disclose defects in the property to the lessee. So what is this? You have to continue the statement, and the correct option is D, A and B, which leaser is aware of and which lessee cannot discover with ordinary care. Both these things are going to contribute correctly to the incomplete statement provided in the section. Section 108 of TP Act provides for this, and this was also pointed out as an important topic for discussed by ixamBee team, concerned faculty. Course videos as well, we have covered this topic. Which of the following is not a duty of the mortgagee? Not a duty. Many times what happens, we skip this not and we tend to mark the wrong option. Which of the following is not a duty of the mortgagee has been asked. Liabilities of mortgagee who is in possession has been covered under section 76, and if you verify, the correct option will be B, that he must commit an act injurious to property. Of course he must not commit. Here they have skipped the not and they have added not over here. It's like that. अगर आप स्किप कर देते हो तो इजी क्वेश्चन है, लेकिन ड्यू टू ओवरसाइट हम लोग कई बार ऐसे क्वेश्चंस को गलत कर देते हैं. नेक्स्ट वाज फ्रॉम कंटिंजेंसी फंड. ये भी डायरेक्टली आर्टिकल 267 ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से पिक किया गया है, एंड इट इज़ मेनी पीपल हैव मार्क्ड इट एज इट इज़ ऑल्सो नोन एज इमरजेंसी फंड. But the correct option, the most appropriate one, will be as an impressed account to meet unforeseen expenditure, because ये impressed account वाला जो definition है directly article में mention किया गया है. You can see Parliament may by law establish a contingency fund in the nature of an impressed to be entitled to the contingency fund. This is the most appropriate and apt word for that. Now the next question, an application for arbitration shall be filed. ये काफ़ी वेग स्टेटमेंट था, बट अगर आप ऑप्शंस को अच्छे से पढ़े तो यू कैन ईजिली गेस द आंसर फॉर दैट, एंड द आंसर इज ए, बाय डिफेंडेंट बिफोर द सबमिशन ऑफ रिटन स्टेटमेंट. ये सेक्शन 8 से कवर किया गया है ऑफ आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट, एंड इस पे भी ixamBee हैज़ कवर्ड इन द क्लास, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. पोस्ट वीडियो में भी ये कवर किया गया था, दैट जुडिशियल अथॉरिटी शल refer a dispute and application shall be filed actually before the submission of first statement of defense. That means written statement for the defendant is the first statement of defense. So उससे पहले ये file होना चाहिए. Which of the following amounts to breach of trust? This was an interesting question actually, because if you can see the options carefully, you will understand that there was only one option which was talking about the duties that are remaining only with the trustee. एंड अगर आप ब्रीच ऑफ ट्रस्ट की डेफिनेशन देखोगे, जो इज एक्चुअली कवर्ड अंडर सेक्शन 3 ऑफ दैट, इट इज़ ब्रीच ऑफ एनी ड्यूटी दैट इज इम्पोज ऑन द ट्रस्टी. दिस वाज आल्सो कवर्ड इन आवर नोट्स स्पेसिफिकली एज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक, एंड सेम क्वेश्चन भी आपको मिलेगा in the material at ixamBee. We have covered breach of trust concept as a very important concept and a questionable area from Trust Act. Many students had come to us कि Trust Act में से क्या prepare करें, and we have successfully guided them on this point. Any grievance of persons, this question was from the administrative tribunal section. Relating to service matters shall be put up before whom and under which law? सो इसका करेक्ट आंसर होगा एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ट्रिब्यूनल्स के सामने जाएगा डिस्प्यूट अंडर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ट्रिब्यूनल्स एक्ट 1885 and in pursuance of Article 323A of the Constitution. This was also marked as an important topic by the iXamBee team in the notes. You can see as well as in the course videos we have covered it comprehensively for the students, ताकि students ये provisions तो at least ना भूलें. Ejusdem generis is a subsidiary rule of interpretation, is a rule used for interpreting questionable words in a statute. Latin maxim which means of the same kind. यहाँ पे दो options correct हैं and the correct answer is A and C, which is correct. And ejusdem generis of course is an important topic. It was an expected area. This was also covered in our notes. You can see the rule of ejusdem generis, how comprehensively and concisely it has been covered in the material of iXamBee. In pleading an unnecessary party to a suit is misjoinder of party, of course. Option B is correct. Joinder, non-joinder, misjoinder. This was marked as a very expected topic. You can see Rule 9, Order 1. Relevant orders were discussed by faculty in course videos as well as in live class. And it was pointed out that Order 1, Rule 9, you have to do it as questions can come from this area because CPC काफ़ी वास्ट टॉपिक है. उसमें से कंसाइज करके कुछ important टॉपिक्स निकाले गए थे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए and the question has been picked from this area. So also covered in live classes. All the relevant orders were covered for students in the live classes. Article 311 से एक question आया था, 44th question you can see over here. Article 311 proviso से ये question पूछा गया था. You can see this clause C, where the president or the governor as the case may be satisfied that in the interest of the security of state it is not expedient to hold such an inquiry. So this was actually an exception and ये question both A and B यहाँ पे true होगा इस question में, but you can focus on the concept that what was picked, article which was picked over here and how deeply they have picked the question over here. This you can see how depth they have taken up in phase 2 in framing of question. This was also covered as an important article. You can see concisely it was covered with all the proviso clauses very distinctively marked in the material. Settlement agreement in a conciliation proceeding. Settlement agreement, again a very topic from conciliation, very expectable area it was, section 73, and it has to be in writing and it has to be in writing and it has to be formulated by parties or conciliator. Anybody can formulate it. This was also covered in the course videos as well as live class for SEBI legal course of iXamBee. Judges cannot go beyond the literis legis is propounded by which rule of interpretation? Directly rule was asked relating to ordinary meaning rule was a correct answer here because literal rule was not there in the options. Even no other word was there which was suitable, and ordinary meaning rule, this was many times the faculty, the students were told this thing that there can be other names, alternate names for one rule, and you have to be careful about that if it is ordinary meaning. This was discussed in the course videos as well. You can see this is a snapshot of the course video. Assurances of property and contracts are made on behalf of the government in the name of, and the answer was of course president or governor as the case may be. For central government, president, and for state government, governor. And this was also an important article, Article 299 of the Constitution. This was also discussed in the material as you can see over here. Article 299 is an important article for course videos as well as live class. This topic was pointed out. An amendment of the Constitution. Lastly, 2-3 questions. Amendment, very important topic, was asked. Article 368 of the Constitution, it was picked up. An amendment of Constitution can be carried out. What was the procedure that was asked? And clause 2 you can refer for that purpose. This was also covered exclusively in the course videos as well as live class at iXamBee, as you can see this snapshot. On death of party arbitration agreement, what will be the consequences on the arbitration agreement if the arbitrating party dies, any of the party? Then the consequences will be as per section 40. It will not be discharged by death of party. This was directly section 40 in Arbitration and Conciliation Act. The last question for discussion today: if a partner commits wrongful acts within the course of business of the firm, then who shall be liable? Now, this was a concept relating to vicarious liability in partnership firm. This was again an interesting question. Section 26, if you refer for this purpose in Indian Partnership Act, Section 26 exclusively covers this. Even Section 27 covers this aspect to some extent, and the entire firm will be liable for a partner if he commits wrongful acts which are there in the course of business. So this is a similar concept to vicarious liability actually, and you can see a similar question was covered in the section test of ixamBee course material as well. So this is all about the PDF material that we had in our content. आप इसे easily download कर सकते हैं वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में से, and you can anytime have access to this. This is very beneficial for you all in your preparation if you are going for the next attempt for SEBI, और एल्स अगर आप फ्रेशर्स हैं, आप फर्स्ट टाइम अप्लाई करने वाले हैं, आप फर्स्ट टाइम एग्ज़ाम देने वाले हैं, तो आपके लिए काफ़ी सारा रेडीमेड मटेरियल अवेलेबल है. डू अवेल दिस, and this you will get only at ixamBee. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel for this purpose and take benefit of such kind of materials, and also the course that we have at ixamBee. We have expert faculty for legal. You can come to us with any doubts and queries and requests. You can also write in the comment section of this video. That's all for our discussion from my side relating to SEBI legal memory based paper for phase 2 examination.